Jehoshaphat through his prophets and the gift of prophecy. Do we want the same blessings? Are we going to do whatever it takes to humble ourselves, to follow what God has called us to do? What does prophecy mean? The foretelling or predicting of what is to come, or something that is declared by a prophet, especially a divine prediction. Some go to Nostradamus, but he is not a true prophet. Acts chapter 2 verses 17 and 18 says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaidens I will pour out in these days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy. Surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets." The Lord has revealed much light and truth to this church, to prepare his people for the coming crisis. What happened in 1864? Many years ago, at the time when doctors were recommending smoking tobacco for treatment of lung diseases, one author wrote this: "Tobacco is a poison of the most deceitful and malignant kind, having an exciting and paralyzing influence upon the nerves of the body. Multitudes have fallen victims to its poisonous influence. They have surely murdered themselves by this slow poison. Those who acquire and indulge the unnatural appetite for tobacco do this at the expense of health. They are destroying nervous energy, lessening vital force, and sacrificing mental strength." And today, we know the truth about tobacco. Nearly 1 in every 5 deaths is caused by tobacco. Smoking is responsible for 85% of lung cancers. 3 million die each year from smoking. Cigarette smoke contains more than 3,000 chemicals. Secondhand smoke kills 5,000 non-smokers a year from lung cancers, and 30 to 40 million suffer from allergies. Dying from smoking isn't pretty. And you tell people who say you should stop smoking, and they just carry on smoking and laugh you away, but they will die in pain. The more cigarettes you smoke, the higher the chance you are going to die. And we were told this in 1864, when doctors were saying, carry on smoking, good for your lungs. 1865. In 1865, in the book How to Live, she linked birth defects with the use of poisonous drugs. People thought she was ridiculous. In 1890, she declared that thousands are born deaf, blind and diseased, or idiotic because of their parents' indulgence in alcoholic beverages. And now, science is proving it. Some say she was a plagiarist. Some say she copied it. But you know, there was so much writings on health at that time. How did she know that this bit was correct and this bit was error? It was by the hand of God that she knew, point by point by point, which was truth. This is why Dr. Kellogg was 5 years ahead of any other doctor. Amen. Somebody asked him, Dr. Kellogg, how is it that you're so advanced? How is it that of all the information on health, you knew that this bit was the truth? You know what he said? Because I would see what the prophet of the Lord had to say on it. Amen. If she said it was true, I went with it. Amen. And that's why he was 5 years ahead of any other doctors in his time. Because he knew what was error and he knew what was truth. In 1890, she later wrote in 1890, men are destroying reason and life by liquor drinking. In 1900, she said, the result of liquor drinking is demonstrated by the awful murders. Yet the liquor curse is legalized and works untold ruin in the hands of those who love to tamper with that which ruins not only the poor victim, but his whole family. Then in 1905, she linked the use of alcoholic beverages with the destruction of the sensitive nerves of the brain. You know, the Bible has a double curse on alcohol. Woe unto you, you who give your brother alcohol and strong wine. Many dangers of alcohol today. Cancers, heart disease, high blood pressure, gout, fatigue. Destroys your brain cells. San Francisco earthquake. Regarded as a prophet by many and a woman with deep spiritual insights by others, She had seen the destruction of San Francisco pass before her mind's eye as early as 1902. She warned, "Not long hence, these cities will suffer under the judgments of God." By the way, we're told that the cities of today are going to be under the judgments of God. And that's why we're told to leave the cities. Get out. Get out while we can. That's what I'm praying for now. I want to get out. But you know what? I'm trying to get out, and I'm finding it's not easy. Get out now while you're making the decision, because when the decision's going to be made for you, it's going to be too late. I'm finding it hard to get out of the city. What do you think it's going to be when we have to get out of the city? You're going to be trapped. Not long hence, these cities will suffer under the judgments of God. San Francisco and Oakland are becoming a Sodom and Gomorrah, and the Lord will visit them in wrath. On April 16, a mere 2 days before the earthquake, she wrote, "During a vision of the night, I stood on an eminence from which I could see houses shaken like a reed in the wind. Buildings, great and small, were falling to the ground. Pleasure resorts, theatres, hotels, the homes of the wealthy were shaken and shattered. Many lives were blotted out of existence, and the air was filled with shrieks of the injured and the terrified." 490 city blocks destroyed, left 225,000 to 256,000 homeless, 1,500 injured, property destroyed at the rate of $1 million every 10 minutes, fires up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. A prophecy had been fulfilled. On October 25th, 1906, 6 months after the San Francisco earthquake, she wrote, "For a time after the great earthquake along the coast of California, the authorities in San Francisco ordered the closing of all liquor saloons. No intoxicating drinks were sold. In the calamity that befell San Francisco, the Lord designed to wipe out the liquor saloons that have been the cause of so much evil, so much misery and crime, and yet the guardians of the public welfare have proved unfaithful to their trust. By legalizing the sale of liquor, the people of San Francisco must answer at the judgment bar of God for the reopening of the liquor saloons in that city." You know what's going to happen, brothers and sisters? We're going to have some more catastrophes. We're going to have some more disasters. And they're not just going to say, "Let's close down the pubs." They're going to say, "We don't need to keep Sunday holy. We need to close the pubs, we need to close the brothels, and we need to keep Sunday holy." Give them time, and they will pass the National Sunday Law. This is just a foretaste of what's about to come. And today, alcohol is linked to virtually every negative aspect of society: suicide, violent crimes, birth defects, accidents, domestic and sexual abuse, disease, homelessness, and death. How many down and outs do we see? And they're alcoholic. But isn't one glass a day okay? A study at the Harvard School of Public Health showed a 50% increase in the risk of breast cancer among women who drank as little as 1 glass of wine each day, and a 70% increase among those who had 2 glasses. In another study, researchers at the National Cancer Institute reported a 50% higher risk of women who drink any alcohol at all, and as much as a 100% increase in risk for those who had 3 drinks or more a week. In 1870, what did she say? "Could you know the nature of the meat you eat? Could you see the animals when living from which the flesh is taken when dead? You would turn with loathing from your flesh meats. The animals whose flesh you eat are frequently so diseased that if left alone, they would die of themselves. But while the breath of life is in them, they are killed and brought to market. You take directly into your system humours and poisons of the worst kind, and yet you realize it not. These animals that die of disease, they are sold for meat. A down cow is left to suffer in the stockyard's parking lot, and it will be used for meat. Thank God we don't eat pig anyway, even if we do eat meat. The body of a hog who died in transit is hoisted into the back of a rendering truck to be ground up and used in animal feed, fertilizer, and other rendered products. And let me tell you, if these dead animals and these diseased animals, you're not eating them, your pets are, and you're sure to catch some disease off them. Seeing is believing. I had some videos